how long you must play a game until you are able, until you are allowed to judge it. 6 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 100 hours, who knows? I recently made a video about my experience with Guild Wars 2. As a totally new player, I played for 6 hours and to put a long story short, I think those 6 hours were really bad, so I decided to quit. This is not a video about Guild Wars though. It's a video about what the people said about my take, because some people agreed, some people disagreed, and among the disagreeers there were also Solheim and Mr. General Apple, other YouTubers that reacted to my video. They, the people in my comment section, and the people in their comment sections as well, basically had the same complaints. 6 hours is not enough for me to say that the game is not good. After 6 hours you don't know the game yet and you are in no position to pass any judgment on it yet. First problem is that they all missed my point entirely. I never said that the part of the game I never experienced is not good. I made it clear in the video 2 times, once at the start, once towards the ending. I never reached the endgame, and I am not passing judgment on any of that. No passing judgment on the latest expansion either. I don't even know what the latest expansion is called. I'm passing judgment on the first 6 hours. They are bad, so I quit. That's the point. But apparently that is still not fair. You cannot say if a game is good for you in 6 hours, apparently. Solheim asked me in his video if I would say that playing retail World of Warcraft for that long is enough for you to understand the endgame, to understand the latest expansion. Obviously the answer is no, but that's not the point. The point is not understanding, the point is having fun. That is the whole point of video games. But we will get back to that in a bit. First, let's assume for the sake of the argument that for you to be able to see if you like an MMORPG or not, you have to play more. You know the saying, the game gets good 100 hours in. But I'm not even going to attack the issue from this angle. I'm going to go by what Solheim has said in his video, and he says you need at least 50 hours of gameplay time to be able to know if you like an MMO or not, to be able to understand the game. And in a way, he's right. To understand an MMO, it takes a long time. But let's talk about what 50 hours of gaming actually means for the average gamer and see why these statements and this way of thinking is insane, and then we can talk about why it is fundamentally flawed even if the time requirement is ignored, and why I think this mentality is one of the main reasons why the MMO genre as a whole is so stale and so stagnating. Okay, if we actually look at the data, the average gamer plays video games for about 7.5 to 8.5 hours a week. If you take all those hours and do not play any other game, it will take you about 6 weeks until you get to that finish line of 50 hours of game time. And to get these numbers, we are looking at averages. This includes Zoomers playing Roblox and Fortnite all day. I cannot find specific data about this, but the average MMO player is older, has a job, often has a wife and kids. Therefore, he has even less time. So in this scenario, for the average MMO player to be able to try out a new MMO and just realize if they like it by understanding it, that would take God knows how many months of their gaming time being allocated to this game alone. Does that sound insane yet? Why is there no other multiplayer game doing this? Why is there no other genre in gaming in general doing this? You know what? Why is there no other entertainment media ever done this in the past? No video game, no book, no TV show, no movie will tell you, dude, you spent only 17 hours? You don't know shit about this. If you are having fun, that's great. If not, it's too soon, mate. Too soon. 33 more hours to go. It's insane. To act like this is to accept that there is no other way. To accept that to understand if I even like an MMO, I need to play for 50 fucking hours and potentially waste weeks of gaming time for this. That is the same thing as accepting that it cannot be done any other way. Because why the hell I would ever do that if there were alternatives out there? And both Solheim and General Apple gave Classic WoW as an example, which is very odd. They say that Classic WoW is a good example because in 5 hours of gameplay you understand nothing about the game. All you do is kill boars. Classic WoW is indeed a great example for this conversation, but exactly because it proves them wrong. Not right? In 5 hours of playing Classic WoW, you absolutely understand a lot about the game. The first time you drop a green item, especially if it is a weapon, the first time you drop a 6-slot bag and you see how much a small thing carries so much weight in this game, the first time you get a new powerful ability, the first few levels you get, the first new zone you discover, this has already made you understand a lot about the game. These kinds of small dopamine hits are getting you hooked onto the game super fast. You start getting them in much less than 5 hours, and this is exactly what will keep you hooked all the way to level 60. Yes, you kill boars 5 hours in, but you kill boars 100 hours in as well. At first you do it in Durotar, then you do it in the Blasted Lands. The game is slow as hell, and it's not hard to get hooked and understand the good parts. It does not take a long time at all. That gaming loop, that journey that everybody talks about when they talk about what made vanilla World of Warcraft so great, that journey, that gaming loop, that experience starts at level 1. Not at 10, not at level 30, not at 50, it takes no time. The feeling you get when you finally get Thunder Fury or Atiyesh is exactly the same feeling you got when you got lucky at level 7 and dropped a green one-handed axe with +1 agility. The amplitude is different, but they all stem from the same place, it's the same kind of emotion, and the game made sure you felt some glimpse of it really soon.
Oh dude, 4 strength, 4 stam, leather belt. Level 18.
And that is of course not the only early game moment that makes vanilla special. As an orc or a troll player, it takes about 2 hours, maybe even less, to get to the first hard quest, Dark Storms in Durotar. Very likely that was the first moment you had a social interaction in the game, the first moment you grouped and together with someone else actually finished a hard quest. In the best case scenario, you actually made a friend. Understanding the endgame of an MMO will inevitably happen if you play and have fun. That first green you dropped, or the first time you grouped, or the first time you won a duel in Razorhill at level 8 or something, or the first time you saw a dude with badass armor in Stormwind or in Ogrimmar and got inspired to raid. None of those teach you anything about the meta, or about talents, or about the Naxxramas attunement process. The purpose of the early game is to make you want more. It is to be fun, so you want to have even more fun and keep playing. The game was just fun, so you kept playing, that's it. Why are people trying to understand video games? Since when is the purpose of video games to give me homework, to make me put in the effort to understand? I believed we are here to have fun. I did not quit Guild Wars 2 because I understood the game and I decided it is not for me. I quit because I had no fun, because the early game experience is just as bad as the early game experience in retail WoW, at least as far as I went. Millions of people don't quit retail World of Warcraft before they reach 60 because they somehow understood that, oh, so I need to get at least 4 plus 10 keys to complete my vault. I should also try to get at least 2 mythic boss raids down and at least 6 heroic bosses. Don't forget the meta quests and the housing quest. No, they quit because the early game is trash.
What? So I got to the end of the tutorial? I played World of Warcraft Classic last week. What happened then? I enter into a field in front of a building. My curiosity guides me. The high levels of enemies stop me. That interplay guides me for like 10 hours. And I'm like learning some magic and getting some skills. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of slick, thick, solid, and tight. And so I think, hey, I heard WoW retail is a pretty cool way to tap into WoW as a brand new game. Where all of a sudden, I'm watching like, I don't know, the characters from Frozen yelling at each other. And I'm on the ship. I'm not in any of the cutscenes. It's just not about me anymore. I'm just on this fucking boat. And now I'm in a jail. And my jailmate is just like, beat the shit out of me. So I do. And now we're breaking people out of jail. And I'm still not fucking playing a game. I want to cast spells. I want to cast spells on things. Where are my spells to cast? I'm like so confused, man. I like don't understand. This is the most played MMO of all time. And I'm like sitting here and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really weird expansion here. And I'm just I want to Frost Mage. I want to cast. I want things to be really cold around me as I freeze my casting. It's like I don't. And this is the thing. People keep saying to me, yeah, they really dumbed retail down. I'm actually just so fucking confused. I don't know. I literally feel like
Let's actually get specific, okay, and talk about numbers, bad numbers. Another MMO, Warframe. I actually like Warframe, played almost 300 hours of it. I did not log in years, but I remember it quite well. The endgame is good. The gameplay is hella fun, and it's one of the best optimized games out there. If we look at the numbers, as I write this script, there are about 60k players playing the game right now, which is really good. The reviews on Steam are set to very positive and there are over 300k reviews on the game. Great numbers. But that only represents the people that, like me, for one reason or another, played for hundreds if not thousands of hours. Well, there is another side of the story. Warframe has an achievement for playing the game for 10 hours. Do you know how many people got that achievement? 25% of players have that achievement unlocked. 75% of players that ever tried this game, 3 out of 4 people, they said, fuck it and quit. But they did not even understand the game. Yes, they did not, but who cares? Why do you keep talking about understanding the game? You know why this happened. It happened because the intro of the game is super cool, but then you are hit with about 5 hours of ultra repetitive gameplay. I can tell you as someone who got past that, the early game experience does not represent how the game plays later. Problem is, that is quite irrelevant when 3 out of 4 people don't even get to see that late game experience because they quit. People don't launch a game after an 8-hour shift at their work because they want homework. They launch a game because they want to have fun. And the people who quit Warframe didn't accidentally install an MMORPG. They knew exactly what they were looking for, they just weren't having fun. This is the target audience of every MMO. People that search for a new MMO to call home, and they try this MMO, and they just quit. And they aren't some minority either. Less than 1 in 5 players ever reaches the 100-hour mark. By your definition, maybe they never understood the game. They also don't care about that. They quit because they weren't having fun. Thinking you have to understand an MMO before you decide to quit, and thinking that 50 hours is reasonable for that to happen is such a huge sign that you are a hardcore gamer. You are in the minority. Most people are not like that. Most people quit faster when the early game sucks massive balls like it absolutely does in Guild Wars 2, Warframe, Retail World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, and let's be honest, most modern MMOs. People just quit. No other hobby will tell you to blindly trust the process. Sink 50 hours in, it's super unfun, and in the end it might be for nothing, but it's the only way. No, it's not the only way. I don't know why people accept this being a reality. If that was the only way, you know what I would say? Fuck MMOs. I don't recommend them to anyone. Instead of gambling 50 hours of my limited time, I could watch all of Breaking Bad, read about 3 books, finish Red Dead Redemption 2. No gambling involved. Fun all the way through, I live with great memories, I explore more of this art, or I could just continue playing Guild Wars 2. Maybe after 6 hours the gameplay is not brainless anymore, maybe the story is not basic as fuck anymore, maybe. I truly have no idea. I also have no reason to trust the game, and I also have no reason to just continue. Why? I'm not having fun. It's not like I don't have alternatives, it's not like I'm pushed into a corner and this is the last game on the planet. The millions of players that quit Warframe, the absolute even more millions of people that quit games like Guild Wars 2 or Retail WoW, they quit based on their personal experience up to that moment. That is how a normal person operates. The game has not been fun at all yet? Well, let me check. There are about 133,000 games on Steam alone. I'll say something wild, but yeah. There is no reason for me to continue with this dogshit experience. I'll just play another game. My time is limited. I'm not going to gamble it away. Maybe it gets better, who knows? Look, once, long ago, Retail World of Warcraft was my favorite game ever, even during Battle for Azeroth. But even when people complain that the early game experience is keeping the new players away, I never went, fucking noobs. They haven't even killed Mythic Gahun yet, and they say the game is bad? They don't know shit. No, they were right, the game was bad. They didn't have fun, so they quit. If you are one of those people that keep defending this position, why don't you ask yourselves, if the endgame is so good, why don't they just take that level of quality and put it in the early game as well? Why does my favorite MMO start with what even I consider to be the worst part? Why is the game not amazing from second one? Everybody knows that Retail World of Warcraft has a dogshit new player experience. And not even the disagreeers of my Guild Wars 2 video ever said that the first hours are actually fun. At best, they just told me I'm stupid and I did not play enough. And many of them, even those that disagree with me and tell me that it's not enough, you have to play more, even they say, yes, those first 6 hours are dog shit, but you have to play more. No, I don't have to play more. I don't have to do it. You tell me that after 6 hours the game is fun, but I can scroll down and the next comment is a person saying the exact opposite of that. People trust their own experiences. That is how people choose what to do next. And by the way, this is 100% a big reason why MMOs are dying. Because on average, the people that try these games quit. Because the developers are never focusing on the new player experience. Because of people like this. Because they say, that doesn't matter, the game is actually incredible. 1 billion hours in. And I talked about why I cannot understand why a player would defend this, but I absolutely get why developers do it. The money is coming not from the new players, but from the guy that already has all the best loot, buys all your expansions, buys mounts, boosts, tokens, skins, whatever. Why spend time and resources trying to get a potential new customer when you can choose the safe route and just keep the already invested players happy? That is how I would 100% think if I was a random shareholder. My time as an investor in this company is limited. Why the hell would I care about potential extra profit in the future? We have our customers now, just make them pay. No risks involved, easy and safe. The creator of Guild Wars 3 himself said it. The MMO genre is not in a good state. It's stale, is boring, it is dying. And that is because no new people come. So far as modern MMOs go, I played World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Elder Scrolls Online, Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty. The early game experience in these games is mediocre at best. You might not see this as a problem, but that is why no new people start playing MMOs. That is why not even among MMO players people don't switch from their favorite MMO, because they don't have fun in any other MMO, because the early game is usually shit. When I play an MMO, get ready to be shocked, I am trying to have fun. I don't give a damn if maybe, possibly, if I just keep playing even more, it will be fun. I gave the game 6 hours. The game was absolutely horrible, so I am out. Despite what some people say, there are alternatives. I would rather play Classic, I would rather play RuneScape, I would rather try FF14, which I never played before, but who knows, I would try something new. I would rather watch 3 movies, or read an entire book, or I would rather make a video, or I would rather sleep. Solheim gave the example of him watching Game of Thrones, saying he had to start it about 3 times before it clicked. That is an anecdote. It does not prove the point. Some people absolutely do that. I actually got quite a few comments from people saying that they agreed with me and had to start Guild Wars 2 about 3 times before they finally had fun. And now they enjoy the game. Some people do that, but as we saw, a huge number of people don't. I don't. Not with shows, not with games, not with anything that after 6 hours, let alone 10, 20 or 50, is still not fun. Maybe it's just me, and sorry for getting a bit too real for a second, but I'm constantly aware of how little time we have in today's capitalistic society. It bothers me that I don't get to see my friends as much as I would like, that I cannot spend more time with my family, that I don't sleep as much as I should, and of course that I don't have enough time for the hobbies I actually enjoy, like playing video games. So when the first 6 hours of a leveling experience are horrible, I will always cut my losses short, especially when I realize that there are still another 20 or so hours left. If the gameplay and the story are both trash, I'm out. If I told my girlfriend, you know what, I finally have some free time today, so I'm going to keep playing the game that has been boring as hell for the last 6 hours, she would tell me I am crazy. And I would agree. I think if more people would just stop thinking like, my MMO is fun 50 hours in, and more like, why isn't my MMO fun for the first 50 hours, the genre would start getting better. If people would think less like, you need 100 hours to truly appreciate my game, which by the way is the best game, and more like, why is my favorite MMO losing 4 out of 5 people before they reach that 100-hour mark, the genre would get better. And in general, if people would just remember that video games, MMOs included, are meant to be fun, not meant to give you homework, the genre will be better. Anyway guys, that's the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please don't harass anyone, we are disagreeing on video games, it's not that deep. I love when these guys react to my videos and I always look forward to it. I love nerding out about things I am passionate about, even if we disagree. Thank you so much for listening till this point. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Big kiss, till next time, peace.